These opening shots are really Albuquerque in a nutshell. Here's some beautiful red flowers, followed by a crushed bottle of cheap tequila left on the ground. I did not know it at the time, but this is the worst street to be walking down in Albuquerque. It's good too. They tried really hard to make this tunnel area pleasant, but it still didn't really feel safe. And with good reason. It was really safe. I just had a situation in downtown Albuquerque, and I may have gotten the guy on video. Not sure yet. Anyway, you have to go through a tunnel similar to, actually, the whole place kind of reminds me of downtown Tucson. 20, 30 years ago, there's a tunnel you have to walk through. Oh, I was nervous about going through this underpass, and I talked to a couple people and saw this lady going, so I was like, okay, maybe it's cool. Before I went through it from this side, because this is not right in the heart of downtown or even outside downtown, it's the outskirts of downtown, if that makes sense. So I saw that walk-through tunnel, and it had always scared me in Tucson. So I approached a couple who had just walked out of there, and I said, hey, is it sketchy down there, or is it cool? And they said, and the lady said, it's okay. So there are some sketchy people downtown, and I'm okay with that usually. I'm kind of an underbelly person anyways, you know? I like to kind of scratch the underbelly, but I don't want to actually jump into it. Especially not jumped into it. Anyway, so I listened, and I noticed as I was walking around, because I'm always very aware of my surroundings. You really have to be in general in life, but especially if you're an older single female, you know, it's just a fact. Nothing against anybody. Anywho, I was walking around, and eventually I realized this is just, there's nothing really to look at. So I turn around and come back. This guy had been staring at me on the street, and so I went, okay, time to go duck into a coffee shop for a while and let him mosey on. And then I noticed he was walking ahead of me as I came back out, and I was walking toward the tunnel. And then I get to the tunnel, and he's just standing there with his arms crossed. And there's another guy kind of sitting there on the ground next to him. And I'm like, do I look like a fucking idiot? Duck in here for a second until this guy gets way, way ahead of me. I noticed There were sketchy people, but there were also a lot of yellow uniformed guys walking around, kind of keeping order, checking on things, making sure everything's cool. So the first guy I saw, I just grabbed him and I'm like, and I explained, he goes, oh yeah. And he actually walked me about halfway to my hotel, and then I go, you know what, this feels safer over here in this neighborhood. I'm good. I'm going to try to put in some of the accidental footage that I shot, and I'm going to kind of explain as we go through. Okay, so this is me kind of slowly walking around and looking again and making sure everything's safe around me, and then noticing down here that motherfucker was standing there. And here I am running with the phone still on in my hand. Probably going to cut some of this, because it's going to make everybody dizzy. Now I approach the security guy. There's a man standing in the tunnel, like with his arms crossed, just like waiting. I noticed him earlier, so I tried to calm him back.
Yeah, they think he's trying to be in here, but we've been having officers come through.
I appreciate it. I noticed you guys have a strong presence.
Yes.
I appreciate that. If you really look, this part where we're under the tunnel, you can see the guy. He's wearing a red shirt.
Walked away?
Yeah.
But
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
You're cool. But anyway, I'm done with Albuquerque.